But first, we're going to start with some welcomes. And I was just thinking earlier how much I was looking forward to just hanging out with you guys because you are the coolest crew. Live and welcome back replay. So I, as usual, like ran into the house, like my hair was on fire, and like unwrapped the webcam, plugged it in, and it was like 2 seconds, 1 second. So I'm a little bit on fire from work. Bear with me as I load everything up. Hi, Tipton Mama. So excited you're here. Welcome, Lotus Blossom. Welcome, Joe Tipton, and a bunch of other folks that I can't see yet. So happy that you're here. Excited that you're here. And apologies ahead of time if the sardonic puns are a little much. This case is a nightmare for anybody with claustrophobia, but that's not me. I'm not claustrophobic. However, anybody should be terrified of dying in a suitcase, especially with Sarah Boone. I mean, if you're going to be killed by your lover, which I do not recommend, you know, you expect it to be like in maybe a Heathcliff, broody sort of way, not really drunk, slurring, stuck in a suitcase, begging for your life sort of way. So, you know, R.I.P. George Torres. And let's figure out what Sarah Boone is doing to explain herself, the ultimate Florida woman. Sorry. Love Florida. Love you guys. But, you know, this exemplifies the Sunshine Law. It's so much fun because Sarah Boone's latest letter, the 53-page letter, went over the top, complaining, as they usually do, about how everybody else knows about her case. And why do they know about it? Why do they have her records when she doesn't have her records? Well, everybody's got everybody's records from Florida, and she just happens to be absurd. So, interesting news. When Sarah Boone handed in this letter at her hearing, where she was also heard, which we're going to listen to today. We're going to play that footage. When she handed in this letter, the judge took it into consideration. I think, as far as I know, and unless I'm told otherwise, these letters outside of the courtroom are ex parte communication. The judge wouldn't be allowed to read them. But inside the courtroom, different case, right? So he goes and back to the bench, and he makes a ruling from his chambers. And the ruling is no more new public defenders. We've exhausted our obligation. You've exhausted your right. Sorry, you can hire your own or you can be your own lawyer. That's it. You're done. So I thought that it would be interesting to get a glimpse of how she conducts herself in the courtroom, because she is very likely to be her own attorney, and her trial is October this year. And the judge said there will not be any continuances. There will not be any continuances outside very good reason. So no more delays after these 4 delays, right? 4 years of delays. Let's go. We're moving forward. As usual, got the bird in the other room. So, I'm going to put on some footage to start, lock him in, and then we'll talk about it. No more public defenders, no more public defender abuse by Sarah Boone. These poor guys. I thought we'd maybe take a couple of little footage of each of the hearings where these attorneys did decide to come and be heard and explain themselves and see what we have in store when Sarah Boone addresses the court. And this is going to be the last Sarah Boone until trial, which we're going to cover because we're going to start covering the Alec Baldwin murder trials with, not murder, manslaughter. Though they definitely make it look like a murder trial. So that's going to start next. And of course, we're going to resume OJ. I myself am working a trial right now, so I have been a little bit sketchy in terms of attendance. But I'm so excited for today. Okay, enough talk. Time for presentation. So let's see what we got. No, I don't want to upgrade for an extra camera. Hang on, hang with me. Downloaded. Lawyer quits on Sarah Boone. Here we go. It's full status hearing. Let's do it. I'm gonna move this over. Make it easy to find. Sarah Boone, episode 3. Really wanted to just get into all the pretrial stuff. Okay, it's working. So I'm gonna load that up. Video. Cozy, welcome new folks. Happy you're here. Excited you're here. Status hearing. Let's. Burn is quiet. Let's all be Burn is quiet. He's so mad at me right now. And thanks to Court TV for the footage. Welcome, Stardust. Yep. No. And she is so smug. She has her papers and her letters in her hand. There has been no ruling yet at this point in the. At this
Dave Castro on behalf of the state.
body cam got really loud.
We set this matter this morning for a status hearing. Ms. Boone, good morning. Counselors, good morning. What is the status for where we find ourselves currently, Ms. Cashman?
I think that Ms. Boone wants to speak to you about that. Mr. Cacciatore and I have had email correspondence and a phone conference this week, and we believe that it can be ready to be set for a trial date late August, early September. I've got a trial certain murder in front of Judge Harris that's going to be a minimum of a week starting August 5th. I am out of state starting September 14th, I believe, for a week. And at this point, those are the calendar issues that I have other cases set, but I'm, as you know, Judge, waiting on pretrial and waiting to see what really goes and what doesn't. Obviously, I have other things on trial dockets through July, August, and September, but those are the for sures.
Okay, all right, thank you. Mr. Cacciatore, anything from your side of the ledger, sir?
No, I think this court's aware of the date certs that we have that were already set.
Trying to get you the exact wording of the ruling while we watch.
Pretty amenable to probable those dates.
Okay, all right. Madam Clerk, if you could swear in Ms. Boone, please.
Well, here it comes. Welcome, guys. I'm a little tired. The caffeine and sugar was.
Ma'am, good morning. Your lawyer advised that there was something that you wanted to bring to my attention.
Was that all that she said?
You could hear her. You guys might want to turn on closed captions because it's very hard to hear the sound here. But
You've listened to everything in open court. You've been here. You've listened to everything that's been presented so far as to the discussions that Ms. Cashman has had with Mr. Cacciatore and readiness for trial and her dates of availability and unavailability. That's what's been presented to me this morning. You've heard the same thing that I've heard.
Thank you. I actually have an envelope, please, that I would like to give to you regarding a letter. It's a lot easier for me to tell you in writing, and it's also put on the court's website, so everyone is aware. I have never experienced anyone like Ms. Cashman, and I have repeatedly, the reason why I'm here is the whole hope thing, where she will change her disposition and her attitude towards me, and it doesn't matter how dumbed down I am to myself to try to coexist with her. I've even come up with a solution to have a pretend judge in interactions with her, so she would try, hopefully, to treat me appropriately and professionally, which she does not do. One of
Oh
the
my.
things I got up and I walked out on her, the last time that I spoke to her was on a video visit that she tried to have in front of a 64 open bay bunk dorm, where I repeatedly kept asking her, please schedule a face-to-face.
Welcome, guys. It is so funny. I don't know about you guys. It's so funny to to listen to Sarah's characterization of attorneys and events and how utterly outraged she is always for herself, and how Sarah Boone is truly Sarah Boone's own best advocate. Interesting, because what I saw and read, although this is a fresh reaction, I've not watched this. I saw some clips and I read some indicators that she does not plan to represent herself. Everybody's saying it. The judge can't rule to make her represent herself. The judge can only say, no more new public defenders. You don't get to go through anymore. But if you come up with your own, right? So you get your own, you go do it yourself, or you come up with your own. And she thinks she has fans around the world. She's going to say something about her fans, her public. It's great. She might actually have some real admirers. I mean, she's so sweet, and just exudes a charisma. No, let's keep going.
Face. The last time we spoke was on May 3rd, where I got up and I left the room because I could not take how she was treating me any longer, and it's every single time. So much so that I have to incorporate a pre-10 judge in order for her to treat me appropriately. And I feel that she is.
Wouldn't you have loved to be pretend judge in that room? Because I know I would have loved to be pretend judge.
Is untruthful with me and full-blown prejudice against me, which I believe adds to her nasty attitude towards me. And I do not trust her.
Nasty attitude.
So
That's
I
terrible.
prepared this for you. It's a letter and then a continuation of the letter from the video visit that you are aware of. And everyone constantly blames me that I am the reason why I am supposedly on attorney number 8, which I am not the reason for any of them. I put this in here also.
She has an entire support group. Oh my gosh, this last attorney, Cashman, she could be her own I am number 8. We could, like, Cashman, let's do a thing. She's 1 in 8. That's a lot of people. That's a lot of lawyers.
You are aware. Again, I
Welcome, you're
refuse to be mistreated by her as my attorney. I'm shocked that she has a proposed trial date, considering the fact that I have not seen anything. I keep asking her for just a download of my phone or my medical records, or for anything that I've asked pretty much all of the other attorneys as well. All of my questions that I keep asking her are in the letter to you. I didn't know if you would be the one to help me answer them, or to spur her to finally answer them to me, and hopefully truthfully. I don't know. As I've said to you before in the past, you said that you are not able to intervene regarding my letters. I still want you to be aware of what it is that I am going through still. And it's a matter of ethics and professionalism with how she should be treating me, and I shouldn't have to come up with a pre-pen judge in order for her to do so. And also some other things that I've been working on in the meantime that I would like everyone else to be made aware of. That I don't just sit and eat bonbons and watch soap operas all day. I fully apply myself at all times.
Okay. Where's the letter?
It's a packet of
Okay.
I believe it's 58 pages.
Ms. Cashman?
Judge, I've obviously not seen the letter. Ms. Boone is correct. She has walked out of the last 2 visits when I've tried to review things with her. Just so the court knows, I've spent probably 20 hours, a little bit more, a little bit less, with Ms. Boone. She has lots of lists, lots of questions in reviewing the court file. She was distressed previously about having access to her lawyers. I have taken collect phone calls from her that are at my expense. JAC doesn't reimburse you because I think it's important for clients to have access. I have
Hang on,
spent...
please. No one's interrupted you this morning, Ms. Boone.
as I said, I've spent over 20 hours
Oh my
going
goodness.
through her questions, going through her list. When I tried to update her with regard to the depositions that I took recently, she opted to exit the jail conference.
So let me just say that 20 plus hours with the client, not just billing on the case, which is half a week if you're thinking about full-time work, not just billing on the case, but with the client, that's a lot of hours for a public defender to spend on anything, because that's not her only case. As much as Sarah Boone would like it to be her only case, it's not. And public defenders do not become or stay in public defender jobs, especially at, seasoned, the average age of a seasoned attorney, just for money. They usually do it because there's some kind of cause involved, or she has her own firm. She might take cases on the side. And she mentioned that she takes calls at cost to herself, and now it's costing her to represent Sarah Boone. So this woman does not seem unreasonable to me in the slightest yet, and I feel really bad for her that she had to put up with Sarah Boone trying to teach her how a pretend judge would behave, because she clearly doesn't know how courtrooms work, and Sarah does.
When I tried to review some things with regard to discovery as to things I wanted to make sure she was aware of, she walked out. She has asked me repeatedly for a copy of some
Imagine you're so busy. You spent all your time for the last 4 years in county jail. You've just got so much to do that the lawyer's wasting your time. You got things to do. You got places to go. You got people to see.
medical records. Based on the discovery I got from the previous attorneys, one of the copies of those medical records had her handwritten notes. So she had a copy given to her previously. She'd reviewed them with previous attorneys. I sent her a new copy. Some of the things that she thinks are important from a lawyer perspective, perhaps I don't attach the same importance to, and you try to explain that to a client.
Imagine how she's going to be in the courtroom when she's trying to present evidence, and the judge is going to be saying, well, what's your foundation? And, objection, objection, objection. Everything she said gets interrupted. It's going to be, people are saying a lot like Daryl Brooks, if she does truly represent herself. And while that might not be her intent right now, maybe right now she thinks, I'm going to get somebody to fund me, and I'm going to go hire someone, or I'm going to, with my charisma, compel someone onto my side to just represent me for free, or for the pleasure of representing me. I think she might end up either way representing herself, because I don't think many attorneys would put themselves through this. Hey, Gathering Voices, welcome. So happy to see you here. All right, let's keep going. This is really fun. Welcome, guys. Welcome, replay crew. Leave if you're on the replay, leave a comment below. I read and comment back to everything. And if you're here with us, drop a note, or just lurk, and we'll keep going.
I know the court's in a difficult position, but at this point, we're at that impasse of, if she walks out of every conference that I have with her, I'm not sure what that says about the attorney-client relationship.
She's so graceful.
Ma'am, you said there was something else that you had other than a 58-page submittal or letter. What other information is it that you're seeking to have me take a look at?
It's things that I've been working on in the meantime. It's
That's
that
great.
she
I love
tells
coming.
me is not necessary, but I know for a fact it is necessary. She likes to, in quotes, put things to
That's
rest
naughty.
all the time, and constantly tells me I'm not having this conversation with you. So I'm not going to waste my time, and I, being in jail, have supposedly abundant amounts.
I can't imagine why she would say that. Why would anybody say that to Sarah Boone? If she's not in charge?
She's not going to waste my time because she's not going to explain something to me. And I have taken it upon myself to explain it to myself
Gosh.
because she refuses to do so.
Stardust Gem says she's going to find fault left and right with the judge. Left and oh my gosh. Yeah, I think this is going to be Daryl Brooks' take two.
I don't understand what it is that she has against me. I have told her from day one that her snotty attitude was
Snotty
inappropriate.
attitude.
And I try very hard to bear with her and her attitude. I don't know what it is that I'm doing wrong to her, but I feel that her attitude has equaled prejudice, which is not in my favor, especially considering she's supposedly representing my life.
Okay. Give me an example of, if you could, of.
I'm going to pause that real quick. You can comment. Welcome, Michelle. Lovely that you're here. So happy to see you. It's nice talking to you earlier today. Michelle says, how many public defenders has she had? Michelle, she has had 8 as a legal assistant. Very intelligent. I would love your opinion on this. She's been through 8 public defenders. Now, apparently it's not a fault of Sarah, but it could be that some of those 4 were graceful enough not to display the reason or not to show up and, invite the judge to know the background, or maybe they did an in-camera review. I didn't follow the first few. I know one said it was a schedule conflict, could have been, but if you have a scheduling conflict and you want to see a person's lawyer, usually you abate the scheduling conflict. You don't get off the case or ask off the case. So it sounds like an excuse to me. So half and half. She asked for to be dismissed and for the judge to give her a new attorney. And these guys, there's footage of the last guy who came in and defended himself. Not all of those 4 defended themselves, but 2 did. So we got this last guy, and we've got Cashman, who defended himself. Right? Crazy. So out of all of those, she's made these wild accusations, and 2 of them showed up at these status hearings and said, that is not what's going on. So we get this glimpse into Miss Cashman explaining, oh my gosh, I tried my damnedest, and this woman's so hard to deal with. Now, what I see in Sarah Boone is an absolute belief, from a mental health perspective, and I'm no doctor, but I do have a lot of experience with mental illness and experiencing working in that arena. So my observation and a personal opinion from a mental health perspective is that she is non-clinical, a very clinical technical term, obsessed with the idea that other people are out to get her or obsessed with her. And this is a tough situation for a person like her to be in, because what she did is so outrageous that there is actually heavy media coverage. So to tell her, no, it's not all about you. People aren't paying attention to what you do. People aren't analyzing what you do. That's not exactly true, is it? There are people who are just going through with a fine-tooth comb and find everything she does fascinating, like guilty, us here today, right? I mean, we're not doing that at all, are we? But I guess what I'm saying is that it feeds into the narcissism of the malignant criminal. Like, I see Sarah Boone, and that's from a criminalist perspective. So there you get 2 tonight, 2 for 1. Crazy that there's 8. Michelle says, what's the exact law as far as the duty to provide an attorney for someone? Thank you for asking that. You always ask the best questions. I'll look it up. My mouth is frozen from all that ice cream. I'll look that up. I mean, it's in the rights they read. If you do not have an attorney, one will be provided for you. Let's look that up while we go. And how many does a person normally get? You get 1 busy public defender who pleads out your case. That's what a person normally gets. I would say that's the standard. Thank you for asking, Gathering Voices. That's great. I guess I should have covered that 1 is the standard. So maybe 2. if there's a conflict, but normally, again, that they move hearings. You don't say, oh, I need off this case, I have a scheduling conflict. Unless it's another big murder case, you can't do both. I don't know. Michelle says, so if she is ruled not to get any more, then down the line, she can't appeal, and since she wasn't allowed a new lawyer, can she? It won't become a loophole, right? I think the judge was actually very careful in considering that when he went through 8, this idea of the duty. I personally didn't think he was going to do this. I thought it was stretching when other folks were projecting this, but he did it. So I guess he thinks that they've definitely met their burden. So it'll be a Florida state thing, and there's federal burden, but I'll look at Florida state too. And then Stardust Gem says, on one hand, she complains incessantly how she's disliked, and on the other hand, she has fans. Yeah, I think to my mind, the term that just keeps popping up in my head is malignant narcissism with a touch of borderline. That's what I feel like I'm seeing. Like, but it's just my opinion.
Items that you believe are important that Ms. Cashman is not giving attention to or dismissing as you may have framed it.
Yes, Your Honor. She likes to tell me that I don't like her
She likes to
answers.
tell me.
She's not giving me any answers to dislike, and I have written 3 pages worth of questions, and I'm still waiting for her and any other attorney to actually answer for me, such as, why can't I have a bond? Why can't I have a download of my phone? Why can't I speak to my investigator? Why can't I have my medical records? Why can't I fully utilize my constitutional rights? There's 3 pages worth of questions that I have.
What constitutional rights specifically?
All right.
I'm very weary about having a fair trial at this point.
She can give us something.
There's a handful of other amendments that I have been researching and working on and trying to incorporate. To me, what I have written to you is obvious, and apparently from the correspondence that I get from the world, South Korea was the last place that I received correspondence. They obviously see the same thing. So I don't know what I'm doing wrong other than wanting to have a very successful outcome. It's just been long and drawn out, and I believe that God obviously believes in me as much as I do him in order to give me this very unique adventure that I am on, and I'm doing my best to let everyone know who I really am as opposed to the malicious murderer that everyone thinks that I am. I don't feel that she can do that properly. I still always, the reason why I'm here is hope, is to hope that she will come in with a gentle, softer side and actually listen to what it is that I'm saying and see the bigger picture other than what the one avenue that she keeps going down. There's other ways to win and more than one way. I'm not sure what I'm supposed to do, but I'm not saying that I'm trying to remove her. I'm just trying to ask you, please, forgive me for having to ask you for this. If you could please let her know, please, to just be nice to me and have a welcoming attitude, and things will probably change, and I will not get up and I walk out. Please don't lie to me. Please don't give me half-truths. And
What instances where there's been falsities or lies that have been told to you by Ms. Cashman? Can you give me an example?
my biggest one, Your Honor, is for me being here ongoing 5 years, no one has ever bothered to try to get me a bond.
What's the lie? You said that she has lied to you. What is the lie?
The process of getting a bond. She lied to my brother in regards to telling him that
Jumping her down.
he would need to come down to the courthouse to have multiple photographs taken for documentation. He would have to bring the security information, deeds to his house, financial statements, so on and so forth. And the icing on the cake was to be aware of all of the news camera crews and everyone that's going to be there in order to document him being there to do what he's going to for the bond.
So
What is the bondsman for?
not being an attorney,
She's supposed to just do
and keep in mind,
motion for the bond, and then from there, the
I'm not
bondsman and
an
I and
attorney.
whoever else are to
I think that the judge found that Sarah Boone had waived her right to public counsel. And I'm looking right now at the Florida Rules of Criminal Procedure, and it says, again, I'm not an attorney on on this, but and I have been, watched the lawyer, has some really popular, great stuff on this. A lot of people have covered it from a legal perspective only. But if you want to hear it, I'll read this section. The failure of a defendant to request appointment of counsel or the announced intention of a defendant to plead guilty shall not in itself constitute a waiver of counsel at any stage of the proceedings. A defendant shall not be considered to have waived the assistance of counsel until the entire process of offering counsel has been completed and a thorough inquiry has been made into both the accused comprehension of that offer and the accused capacity to make a knowing and intelligent waiver. Before determining whether the waiver is knowing and intelligent, the court shall advise the defendant of the disadvantages and dangers of self-representation. That's interesting. Regardless of the defendant's legal skills or the complexity of the case, the court shall not deny a defendant's unequivocal request to represent himself or herself if the court makes a determination of record that defendant has made a knowing and intelligent waiver of the right to counsel and does not suffer from severe mental illness to the point where the defendant is not competent to conduct trial proceedings by himself or herself. In this case, the judge didn't take away the counsel. Sarah Boone asked the counsel to be removed from her case. So a technicality there, right? He just didn't give her another one. So I don't know if it was a waiver of counsel or not, but this is an interesting section, right? If a waiver is accepted at any stage of the proceedings, the offer of assistance of counsel shall be renewed by the court at each subsequent stage of the proceedings at which the defendant appears without counsel. Now, I just can't imagine that Sarah Boone would have to go in there representing herself with no public defender even to advise her, and that he wouldn't end up, ordering, having the other one available. And so it's surprising to me that this was just a chambers ruling, just simply, no more. No complicated explanation, no law on it, no memo appoints and authorities, nothing. Just he doesn't want to give her anything to examine. Okay, Stardust Gem says, snide alert. It would be quite the circus if her personality splits and she turns on herself and says she didn't have adequate representation. Yeah, I think she really does see the world this way. So it's kind of hard to watch like a train wreck, but it's hard not to. So. But Michelle says, how would this work if she has to defend herself without a defender? Right? I have the same question. Like, what? Can she subpoena people as witnesses? Or for depositions to gather discovery in her favor? How would this work? Michelle, I don't know in this case in Florida, but I have watched a video of a case that was released. It was actually flipping horrible, where this woman actually had a DV case against her ex, and it involved the R word and things like that. And he was able to represent himself after having allegedly held her hostage, and then question her in the court. And there's this horrifying video of him being allowed to do that. And I remember watching it going, how on earth has this ever been allowed? But somehow it was. And she was bold enough to keep going. So I wonder if there isn't some loophole. It's just hard to imagine, right? That the judge would rule on this and it would be final. I mean, what if she says later, no, I want that attorney back. Like, I can't do this without an attorney. But the judge says we will go forward, barring any extreme circumstance in October. This case will move forward. So he has no intention, he's trying to make clear, of giving her another extension just because there's no new lawyer. Yeah, right, Sarah? I think, and Michelle, I think Sarah would be part of that process. I think that she would be part of that process. She's her own lawyer, right? And that is what we saw in the Darrell Brooks case, him getting to get up there and question the witnesses. And it was weird. It was so weird. And that's why I'm setting aside, a mental space right now to say I'm going to cover this trial. I'm going to follow the trial and watch the highlights and kind of see what what we're going to see, because no doubt if she loses, and I mean, what defense is there for this? There will be appeal after appeal after appeal unless she ends up pleading. I can't imagine that there wouldn't be. And again, I'm no lawyer, but that's what I see here. Michelle says, why would she contribute to the final what would she contribute to the final pretrial conference, right? As a legal professional, it's like, how would you be able to do this? I don't know. I don't get how this will work, or doesn't it matter? If she knows nothing, she knows nothing. She knows nothing to do in her own favor then, right? I mean, they'll give her like, she's a straight A student, right? She claims. So they'll give her some information packets that explain what are you supposed to do next in your case. And, guides to pro se advocacy. So, person has a right to defend themselves. So there are guides to the steps of what they do. And they have forums, and they do have their own paperwork. It's not super complex like civil litigation. It's not like a lot of documents to get. So there's a law library, and she's allowed the forms, and she's allowed, access to those things and to a computer. And, there she goes, filing up the documents. And I didn't know that I was supposed to do it to advantage my case. As far as I understand, that's not a thing. It is so confusing, though. I'm having a hard time wrapping my head around this, and I keep expecting the judge to say, Frank, here's another lawyer. Like, okay, I give in. All right, here you go. But, I'm really not a Kantian eye for an eye, satisfaction out of punishment kind of person. That's just not really internally who I am. But she's so indifferent while he's begging for his life and then she's so entitled afterward. She's the ultimate Karen. And I'm not even a fan of that term, but she embodies it. And it's horrible. They're trying to nickname her before the trial. They're trying to nickname her the suitcase suffocator. I keep seeing that term fly around in a Florida state news. It's awful. Okay, so I can't really think about that too much, or I don't get claustrophobic, but I do get like physically in spaces, but I do get claustrophobic at the idea of not having like fresh air. So that does get to me if I think about it too deeply.
Work it out.
So what part of that is a lie?
I just simply wanted to have her do a motion for a bond hearing.
But the statement that you said is that Ms. Cashman, who's an officer of the court, has lied to you. And what you've provided me so far is not evidence of any lies based on the severity of the charge.
I believe, because she's not fully explained it to me other than what she's asked me for that I tried to provide to her, was that I just need to give her an address. And that's what I gave to her, and then it turns into everything else.
Right.
And then it turns into all these other different stories of why she won't do or why she has said certain things. It always changes and it mutates after I ask her for certain things, not just for the bond, but for other things also.
Okay, well, let's focus on the bond issue, because you said that she's lied to you, and what you've told me so far, none of that is inaccurate.
So saying that an officer at the court has lied to you and saying that in the courtroom to the judge is actually a really serious, heavy accusation. It's not something you can say, oh, by the way, pass the catch up. She's such a liar. You can't really do that. He's going to call her out on it. I love that he called her out on it. Yeah, Sarah, that's my name. Don't wear it out. No, I'm going to make you answer. There's some part of this that is very like, yeah.
So how is it though, because I don't have any experience prior to this, I don't know the process of getting a bond other than what I have read, and it's just
Oh, we're going to hear so much whining from her.
a motion for a bond hearing. But I didn't know that anyone.
Coming this fall to a courtroom and live near you, the Sarah Boone experience. Holy crap, that's going to be something else. At least it's on 3D.
All of the other inmates, even officers, have ever said that they've had to do that process. in order to have photographs taken and documented and news crews and visits to his house. He's not posting my bond, which I told her 1,000,001 times, but she still spooked him by asking by him something that he's going to have to, and it would threaten his security clearance considering he's in the service, the military. So,
Gosh, Michelle, I feel the same way. I'm like, I guess, okay, there's got to be an explanation for this. I've just never seen it before, but then I've never seen anyone like just chomp now down through a public defenders either. Like never. And just, I don't know. This is something Boston legal, which however you believe is impossible. Just saying.
she totally deterred me from having my brother's address in order for me to have a motion for a bond. No one else has even bothered to even ask me for one, and I will be honest with you in the court. I know for a fact with however sky high my limit would be for my bond to receive, I know for a fact, and
You know what? I detect as well. And again, just got to throw out, I'm not a mental health professional. I detect a little bit of histrionics. Okay. Histrionics. That's a core feature in a lot of disorders. That's what I see here. And like everything is like really feels like this to her. Probably really feels that big to her. It's interesting to see how it goes through her mental gears and spits out into this. And yeah, I just can't figure out how the court's gonna abide by this or what like physical rulings are gonna look like, because there's no law on this. It's just a simple one-line ruling on the ROA. That's it.
as my fans and
Register of
would
action.
set up GoFundMe pages or God's will or however else it is he planned on for me to have it paid, if at all. My point is to utilize my rights. to
Jailhouse
have a
lawyer.
bond. And with the information that I have included in here to you, for the amount of saturation of publicity, there's nowhere that I could go even if I were to be an in quotes flight risk because of the
She's not
amount
getting
of
a bond.
information that everybody already knows about me, what I look like. And
Notice she does make so many faces. It's really entertaining to it's hard to pick on the YouTube thumbnail. You know, I'm not like, you know, big enough to like hire a tech person right there. I make my own thumbnail. So it's really fun. I like to find pictures of her and get her making like crazy faces, you know. It's like
what I eat apparently,
Coming
and
back.
so many other things. There's nowhere I could go.
by the way, my East Coast crew is up super late. It's really fun. Thanks for being here late.
If I were to even think about being a flight risk, it's just the fact that I would like please to have a bond so I can say that I actually achieved something while I was incarcerated.
Okay.
There's other things, there's so many other questions that I have to ask.
Which are outlined in your submittals there, right?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Ms. Cashman, briefly.
Like, yeah. It's all there, right?
Judge, there's clearly a conflict with
Check.
what I'm going to tell you are false allegations Ms. Boone is making about me, and my continued representation of her. As I said, I've spent 20 hours with this client going over her questions and her issues in detail. With regard to the brother and the bond hearing, yes, I contacted her brother. I explained to her brother and I explained to her. You can't just write a bond motion and the judge grants it because of the allegations. You have to come forward with proof. I asked her brother if he was willing to come to court and testify. He raised the issue to me about his security clearance and would the media be there. He never told me he had to provide pictures or a deed to a house. What I said was, the media's been in the courtroom for all the hearings and it's likely that they would be there for the bond hearing and that your face could be on the television, and it was a concern for him. And
We'll jump on the comments after this.
gonna just leave it at that. But,
Break it up.
Judge, I can't spend all my time defending what I'm doing and at the same time be effectively preparing a case for trial. In these situations, I know it puts the court in a very difficult position.
You said it. Got it.
As I see it, Ms. Boone has a couple options. Number one, she can ask you to represent herself. She has the right to. You have a Feretta hearing and determine whether she's capable. The court then
But they
has to
didn't have
address
that
the
hearing.
issue of whether it's appropriate to appoint standby counsel. Obviously,
Wait, does that hearing come next? Like, okay, so does that get added later? Are we gonna see that on the ROA? Like, is that what's going on? What hearing?
since she believes not a word that I say after 40 years of doing criminal defense, I'm probably not the right lawyer for that. You know, the other thing is,
Oh, she's gonna regret giving up this one. This is I'm guessing would have been a good advocate. She's so direct. She's persuasive. Wow. So Michelle says, so was there a trial scheduled a few years ago and it keeps getting continued? Yes, Michelle. Yeah. She has been, to answer both at once, Lotus, as well. She's been in jail for over 4 years now. And every time she asks for a new attorney, she waives her right to a speedy trial. I don't know what she's getting out of this other than she's, I think, got some kind of histrionic mood disorder and like things feel like really, really big all the time. And it feels like super personal. And she's got this, very aggressive, maybe it's substances, I don't know, but she's really aggressive. And very snotty, and to put the two together, and it's tragic and entertaining all at once, especially. Wait, did we miss a comment by Tipton Mama up there about, I think I missed a few, actually. Sorry, guys. I did miss a few. Okay, I don't know how I did that. I don't know, sorry. I think it was just following one thread and lost it. Okay, let's go back. I see one from Lotus. Boone is actually afraid and doesn't seem to want to represent herself. Now her abuse toward the previous 8 public defenders has come back to haunt her. Yeah, unfortunately, that seems to be, she's got this skewed sense of perception between herself and everyone else, and seems very antisocial, and that's gonna backfire pretty bad. She's kind of looking like she's not getting out of there. And I don't, a lot of people, everybody has pretty much agreed on she's not likely to get bond, and she's not likely to be able to afford bond. I mean, she might get it sky high, like she said, and they probably don't want to waste the time, but she seems to think that if she submits this number to her fan group, then they'll be able to raise the money. I don't know. Okay, Stardust then said, maybe she can check out okay, we got that one. Yeah, we saw that. She does make a lot of faces. Okay, there it is. That's the one I somehow missed. Tipton Mama says, it makes staying salty after dark really fun. Yes, especially after I had extra coffee after the afternoon because I knew I was coming with you guys. So oh. Radio. All right, here we go.
she gets one last lawyer and either works or it doesn't. And
so she's the one that suggested it, and she was more generous than the judge actually was. What? Let's go back just a moment and hear that, because she is speaking with 20 years of experience, and she ain't messing around. She doesn't have time to screw around with Sarah Boone telling her how to do her job with pretend judge. I would just slap the crap out of this lady. Literally, don't ever do that verbally and walk out. Of course she's not showing reverie to Ms. Boone and her 20 years of legal experience. Really? Okay. Treats her like a servant. Boone's treating her like a servant.
obviously, since she believes not a word that I say after 40 years of doing criminal defense,
Michelle,
I'm
she's
probably
a good
not the right
jailhouse lawyer.
You
And
know,
she'll
the
have all
other
the
thing is-
experience. She can be everyone else's jailhouse lawyer. For the rest of her natural life, she'll have a great job security and program housing for free.
is she gets one last lawyer and either works or it doesn't. And sometimes, unfortunately, the court gets put in a position that you have to have that conversation with a client that
Judge
you
agreed.
don't, if you want your counsel of choice, then you need to hire your counsel of choice, and everyone can certainly do that. And if you're
Ma'am.
indigent, the court can only go through this so many times with Ms. Boone coming to the court, and there ending up being irreconcilable differences, such that the counsel that you have appointed can't move forward and provide effective assistance to counsel.
Okay, here's what we're going to do. I'm inclined to go ahead and figure out where we can set this thing for trial and then kind of work backwards from there. I'm not dismissing your concerns, Ms. Boone. I'm going to take what it is that you've given to me. I'm going to circulate that to both Mr. Cacciatore and Ms. Cashman. I will review it, and I will schedule a hearing to address any of the issues in your submittals if one is necessary. Okay? All right. Ms. Cashman, you had advised some of your unavailability for vacations that you have previously scheduled and/or other time-certain trials that you have in front of Judge Harris.
And on June 21st, I have a trial case management with Judge Marquez on a case that's
We don't need her schedule.
likely at the July 22nd,
That part is the worst scheduling.
difficult
Even where
considering.
everybody agrees and everything's perfect. Oh, we don't have a courtroom, and oh, this case ran late, and this other trial is not ended yet. They don't have a verdict, and we're gonna have to move it again. It happens all the time. That's the reason I'm sitting here right now, prepping for a trial at work, running in late out of breath. Everybody I
the
know is like,
trials
how's
I
the
already-
trial? Like, moved again. And not because, anything, not because we're trying to do that.
Already have set then. The dates I'm out in September while I'm looking at the calendar is the
was-
14th to the 19th.
All right, that's not a trial period for my division, so that shouldn't be a conflict.
This
The
was
trial
1 week
case
ago.
management that you have on July 21,
June
July
2021, I'm sorry. When is her trial period, Judge Marquez's trial period following that?
She doesn't really have a trial period because she's the post-conviction division. And I'm not clear how she sets things, and I think that,
You have a range for where her
No.
calendar may be available for that? Okay.
no. I think it's based on when she has post-convictions motions set, and that it's my understanding from Judge Chu that she was scheduled to be back up for part of his July-August trial period, but because she doesn't have a regular trial docket, I
No, it's the
can't
end
really
of
answer
June.
that question.
How long do you think it would take us to, A, pick a jury, B, try the case?
I think we would probably be
Good question.
5 days.
Including jury selection?
Yeah, a day for jury selection, and I think approximately 3 days for testimony, and then a day for
charging conference and closing.
Ms. Cashman?
5 days is probably a fair estimate unless something changes, Judge.
Okay. So the court already has special
5
set
days
trials
to the
in
jury.
July and August. We could set this matter at the beginning. My August trial period is supposed the first week. My last week of my period is the first full week of August, and it starts again on the last full week of August. So we could set it then, but I know that you have trial case management with Judge Marquez on the 20th or the 21st of June, which may impact that. So-
And I have a trial certain with Judge Harris August 5th, and
As do I.
Date certain. So that means more likely than not to go. It's supposed to mean it's definitely going to go forward.
August seems a bit difficult for me.
I've seen this still get postponed because they'll be like, oh, I have another one date certain. And it's been going on longer and it just got moved over. No, I didn't realize. No, definitely seen that.
For a week,
Mr. Robinson.
for Mr. Robinson.
Yes.
So The options that I see it are, we could specially set this for the week of August 26th, or
Okay.
we set it for the trial period beginning September 30. The hiccup with that first week of September 30 is we have a court holiday on Thursday, October the 3rd, which would limit us to a 4-day trial period, which I don't believe is not sufficient. So that would take us to either October 7 or October 14. So based on the court's trial calendar, that's what I've got available, August 26th,
So
October
that's
7 or
actually that
October 14.
I think the October 7 or October 14th is more realistic, Judge. I know that Mr. Cacciatore has other trials too, and other things on other judges' pretrial dockets and those
Statutory
things.
is the
We're
prosecutor.
specially set in July and in September. Mr. Cacciatore?
I think this was June 28th, as far as I can tell from the report. It's hard
I think
to.
October 7th is fine.
Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to specially set this matter for the second week of the September 30 trial period, beginning Monday, October 7th. We will set this matter for trial case management on the 24th of September, right?
The September 24th will be.
On September
18th.
24 at 9 a.m.
September 24th.
Oh, yeah, that's a good idea.
Case
We'll do you at
management
1:30 in the
conference.
afternoon.
That's where both parties come together, and I'm not a lawyer. I do have a couple, I have education that covers criminal justice. Okay, so from the perspective of that, I can talk about the process. So they set a case management conference, and both sides come before the judge for housekeeping and basically say, yes, judge, we're ready to proceed, and they dispense with any issues that might be coming forward. That's where also usually they deal with motions.
Afternoon.
It's Tuesday, September 20th.
Tuesday,
Well,
September
the ruling was issued later that day from the bench or the following day. I'm sorry, from chambers is what I mean to say. So he went back to his office and just issued a single line ruling. It said she's exhausted with public defenders. So it sounds like we're hearing that there's going to be a conference on the matter, and yeah, maybe she's going to be advisor. Maybe that's what's happening.
24 at 1:30 in the afternoon for our trial case management. Trial date certain on October the 7th. Deputy, if you could,
October
please
7th.
grab the 2 packages of submittals from Ms. Boone. Oh, I thought it was 2 different envelopes, ma'am. Okay. I will review that, and after the review, the court will either issue an order or set this matter for hearing based on what it is that's been presented by Ms. Boone. Mr.
Okay.
Cacciatore, anything else we need to address this morning, sir?
He issued an order, so he must have found that whatever was in that letter was a request to, to give the boot to this lawyer, and he said no more lawyers. Again, everybody's saying she's going to represent herself, but I don't see that that's necessarily follows. She could pull a lawyer out of the hat, or, I don't know, her fan club.
Not going to say.
Ms. Cashman, anything else we need to address?
Not that I'm aware of at this time, Judge.
Ms. Boone, is there anything else you need to bring to my attention at this time?
I'm grateful for your time. I forgive you for having to utilize it. But I really do hope that you review thoroughly what it is that I'm asking for from my attorney who's supposed to be representing me for the trial that's supposedly happening in October, late September. So if you could please, I don't understand how I'm supposed to be able to go into a trial when I don't have what it is to properly defend myself.
Ma'am, I've asked for your submittals. I will be reviewing them. All right, thank you.
Oh, no.
All right, thank you very much. Have a great
Picture the
day.
end.
Thanks, Judge.
And is Ms. Walker still here? Okay. Ms. Walker, good morning.
I believe we are all set for the meeting.
Okay, is Mr. Escarga here? Okay. All right, can we call,
Oh, she'd give us a little chin wagger at the end, like pride, like, send your donations to. Yeah, I'm sure she's got a little bit of, it's not too super easy for her, but she manages to muster the self-esteem. We love Sarah Boone, right? Wow. Goodness, guys. Thanks for hanging out with me. This is really fun. We made it almost 9:30 p.m. This was a long one, but not that long for us, right? We normally go like 3 hours till 3:30 a.m. or something. So it does sound like he's keeping on the public defender. I mean, I can't quite interpret, read too much into this. No new lawyers. This one's relieved. I don't know. What does that mean? I'm trying to find the exact wording for you guys. Let's see if we can get somebody to read it, since I can't get a copy of the order. Although I think I thought I just had it and read it. I seemed to, for a minute, I thought I had the register of actions up, but it says the site can't be reached. So I don't know what's going on with that. And see if I can find anything. Yeah, the link doesn't open. It's crashed. But I saw a few other people with it. Oh, here's a new version of that link. It's through. Aha, my e-clerk. Let's see if we can do it together. I'm going to share this window. We have a legal assistant here. Michelle, maybe you can help me. Let's do this together. Let's see if we can get her records. Yeah, this has been fun. For those of you who want to stay up with me for a few minutes, let's try to do this. Share screen. Michelle is really good at this. I know this because we have done this together. We've done ROA checks together. If you're still here, although she might not be, she might have fallen asleep at her desk. I mean, wherever she's watching from. Because it's very late there. It's on Eastern time. Let's see if I can get Justice Link. County records. Also share audio. Here we go. So record search, I think. And you guys jump in, I think, if you know. So this is definitely going to be criminal. Let's see. I don't normally look up ROAs on criminal. Spend all my time on civil. I don't know. Maybe let's just do a name. I am not a robot. Oops. Lost it when I was not a. Maybe I was a robot for a minute there. Here we go. What do we have? Oh, we have a few things here. We have her divorce. We have her car, her civil traffic infractions. Ladies and gentlemen, they had a foreclosure. These are all public records back when Brian and Sarah were together. City Mortgage sued them. Her middle name is Gibbs, or maybe that was her maiden name, Sarah Gibbs Boone. Okay, so that might help. We have criminal felony. Sarah Catherine. Maybe that's it. Maybe it's not Gibbs. Maybe it's Sarah Catherine. Let's try this one. 2018. Battery. By strangulation. Maybe they don't have a specific code or charge for suffocation by suitcase. Written plea of not guilty, waiver of arraignment. Bond filed. What's up with that? Charge 1 cash bond. What's this? That's her. That's definitely her. Let me run back to the comments really quick, see if I'm missing any comments. I know I said we're leaving, but we're all still here. I mean, a lot of us are still here. Okay, yeah, Michelle. Oh, yeah, you missed something. We're looking on the register of actions on Sarah Boone to see what we can see on what's coming next. So I've got her docket up. So I found her. I got her. We're going to keep running through it. She is claiming to answer this question, Michelle. I thank you again for your awesome questions. She's claiming that she's innocent, but she hasn't. I'm not sure if the court has accepted the defense, but I believe that she's planning to go with the battered spouse syndrome, battered woman syndrome, in saying that, she was. I can't imagine that she's going to be able to get a jury to believe that at that moment she was afraid for her life or needed to take some sort of like drastic steps to prevent her life from being immediately threatened because she was laughing. Now I suppose one of the theories that has gone around that's pretty popular is that maybe after she was mocking and making fun of him, at that point she could have been like, oh crap, I can't let him out now, he's going to be so mad at me. But we've analyzed these videos before, the body cam, we analyzed the painful cell phone video. I feel like I'm having an asthma attack just thinking back about it. The painful cell phone video of him crying out to her and she's like laughing, it's my name, don't wear it out. And she acted like she didn't know the next day. And we hear what sounds like being drunk. And then the biggest part was when they said, we have this video, they confronted her with it. They said, you left him there, you zipped him up. She kept repeating, not maliciously. And she's not a super sophisticated criminal. She's not super sophisticated psychologically. She's really, she reminds me of somebody I know. I think some of you will know who I'm talking about. But she keeps saying not maliciously. And what that means, in Sarah Boone language is maliciously. I've used this example before, but there's no poison in this cup. If anybody ever hands you a cup like that, definitely don't drink it. That's all I'm saying. So let's go back to that register of actions really quick and take a closer look. Where were we on here? Okay. Orange County, Florida, Sheriff's Office, Sarah Catherine Boone. She doesn't live there anymore. I just don't harass whoever lives there. I know you're all heading there right now. Don't stop. Get out of your cars. Okay. Orange County Corrections has received the sum indicated below on behalf of and for deposit by the Orange County Clerk, blah, 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 for the appearance of the defendant upon the conditions hereafter set forth. I'm guessing this is not for her murder charge. I mean, this has to be another charge, right? She made bond on whatever this was for $250. This is one of her. That's it for the date. I don't do these kinds of documents. Here we go, 2018. So maybe one of her intoxication or something like that. Okay, let's see what else. Whatever it was, she pled not guilty. Let's go back. So, which one do you think this is? Criminal felony. Let's check this one out. Okay. Open. Status open. So I think this might be our case. Here we go. And bingo, it is. Second degree murder. And a plea was entered on April 13th, 2020 here, where she denies the charge and pled not guilty. She was arrested on February 25th, 2020. And it explains here that she was arresting agency was Orange County. So she has been in prison or jail. She's been in Orange County, Florida jail since February 25th of 2020. which was, I think, the day after George Torres Jr. was killed. And here is her next hearing. The last one was the 9th. She had some sort of evidence control sheet. This. Aha, she was given a box of discovery. So here's the receipt. Here you go, Sarah. You wanted intimate access to your case. Now you got it. Remember that letter? Why don't I know my case? Why don't I have all the discoveries? So she just got a box. Do you guys see that window or no? I don't know if you see that one. Oh yeah, it opened a new one. Yeah, let me see if I can show this. It popped up, did a pop up, and this is the one. So stop. Oh, hi. So share it again. And go get this new screen because, yeah, here we go. Boom, there's her box of evidence. I'm not as fast at flipping between these as some of these pros quite yet. But here's my best effort. So there you go, one box of evidence. So that's probably all she's got. Because remember that the last attorney said that she turned over 2 boxes actually. So I don't know where she's supposed to keep this. Like, I know sometimes it's kept in the cell, or sometimes there's a room. I understand, a small storage room that's given in the courthouse. And certainly, that's not like they're not dedicating a lot of other space to the trial. Okay, the court will reach out to the jail to inquire how to deliver and will provide written order to release both boxes. Okay, there are 2 boxes there. Go back. See what else we see. You guys saw that? Okay, cool. Yeah. I'm kind of excited that I managed to do that because usually it takes me a minute to figure out a new county docket or something. So correspondence filed from defendant to judge. Here's that lengthy letter. Here's another one on June 25th. Not the 58-page letter. It was made known to me by an officer here at the Orange County Corrections Department that my attorney, Patricia A. Cashman, had submitted her motion to withdraw on 6/11/24, which now explains why she has not contacted me nor answered calls. So Sarah doesn't want off of hers. Cashman wanted off Sarah. Why is this sharing? If not, let me fix it. Oh no, it's not. Okay. You guys gotta see this. This is great. It says trash boxes. Wait, I'll go back to look, but I can't like flip the screens again, but I don't know. I'm not that good at it, but okay, can you see the letter? Your Honor, it was made, all the flowery language is gone. It was made known to me by an officer here at the Orange County Corrections Department that my attorney, Patricia A. Cashman, has submitted her motion to withdraw on 6/11/24, which now explains why she has not contacted me nor answered calls. Why hasn't anyone sent me a copy so I know? To confirm my exclusion in my case, especially by Attorney Cashman, and stated in all of her letters previously written, I was not included, and am finding out weeks later. Judge Kranick, I am trying to receive, please, a copy of her withdrawal or better understand her reasons for the undisclosed departure from my case. No attempt was made on her part to solve or remedy in some type of discussion professionally beforehand. Therefore, I am having to include you for this request, as I did my most recent letter. Please understand, I am trying to understand. With her attempted withdrawal, the successful withdrawal, my very legitimate concern now is not having any of my case documents returned to me, as with most of the prior attorneys. Who has a most of prior attorneys? To date, many of my evidentiary case items cannot be located after my numerous requests to the attorney on my case at that time and to Attorney Cashman. Okay, well, we just saw Cashman return 2 boxes. No one knows where my case items true? Who has what or cases to research, and now I am no longer under their representation. Shrugged shoulders, avoidance, and lies of where anything may be is all I have received when requesting from my former unwilling, disingenuous attorneys. These are my case comments. Attorney Cashman stated to me more than once from asking repeatedly about that she had reviewed all of my discovery, which I was withheld from reviewing. And so I did not even know all she had specifically had and completely in what was available to me. Your Honor, how can I ensure, please, the return of all my case contents from Attorney Cashman? When may I finally review my discovery and the contents she has of my case so I know what is still missing or lost? Pardon me for having to utilize your invaluable time to ask to receive my invaluable case items. Ooh, burn! Please understand, I'm trying to understand. She said that twice now. And when I can rightfully defend myself, due process is due, overdue. I thank you in advance for my inclusion to also receive a copy of Attorney Cashman's withdrawal notice and for helping in the insurity actually of my case contents to be returned successfully for my historical review from Cashman. All other former attorneys also please if possible. Judge Cranick, you will never understand my gratitude for listening to me, giving me opportunity to finally be heard, and your apparent caring judicial manner. Thank you immeasurably. I wait for the next appropriate step in moving forward, however and with whomever. Sincerely, Sarah Boone. So she writes this before he issues the order. Okay. So where's the order? Court minutes. Okay. Here we go. There we go. Let's go back to this window. Because here we have the order. Fine. I'm going to give you the order. Let's stop sharing the screen. I'm back to, this is pretty fun. Thanks for allowing me to share this with you. All right. Are you able to see this? Court minutes. Down here, this is an earlier entry, so lower is earlier on the minutes here. The court addressed Attorney Cashman's motion to withdraw. The defendant was placed under oath. The court read on the record its order dated 6/28/24 as it relates to motion to withdraw to the defendant in open court. The defendant gave a statement and asked questions of the court. The defendant was provided a copy of the court's order hand-delivered on Court's order hand-delivered on 6/28/24 by Officer Jones and Thomas. Court order granting motion to withdraw. So we'll go back to that 1 second. I just downloaded it. Comments. The court made findings. Here it is. Michelle, tell me your official opinion. The court has made findings that the defendant has forfeited her right to counsel. The motion to withdraw was granted. As a condition of Attorney Cashman's withdrawal, she shall provide the court an order for costs to obtain transcripts of depositions for the 2 witnesses she deposed. Under completion of the transcription of the depositions, the deposition transcripts shall be sent directly to the defendant at the Orange County Jail. Attorney Cashman shall file a notice with the court reflecting that all deposition transcripts were provided to the defendant. All previously set dates remain. All pretrial motions must be filed no later than the close of business on Monday, July 22nd, 2022. The court ordered to Attorney Cashman to provide the 2 boxes of discovery with the clerk marked as identification A and B, and she did. The court will reach out to the jail to inquire how to deliver to the defendant. Holy Hannah! There it is right there. The court has made findings that the defendant has forfeited her right to counsel. That's simple. That's simple. My mind is kind of blown. I just didn't think that they would be able to do that. Just didn't look like she said she'd be, I just, so, like maybe I'll, as long as I have it in me, we can keep going through our docket and past like the timeline. But I think everybody's getting tired. I'm getting tired, but I'm just, wow. I do think it'll be televised, Michelle. So all our hearings have been televised. It's Florida, and they do like their sunshine on things. So I think that it will. I think we're going to get to see this, and probably Court TV will be in there, and I'm sure Florida channels will be in there streaming. I do think we're going to get to see like a live, probably. And if you missed the announcement, oh, by the way, everybody, if I forgot to say something, but please go like, and if you haven't already, please subscribe. If you're, in replay, remember to like and subscribe. I totally forgot. I feel what a dummy. I had a room full of people and I forgot to ask you. Let's see how high we can get, right? That would be fun. I usually don't ask for them very often, but I'm trying to remember. I said just for famous people. No, Court TV is pretty good about getting all these trials up there. We can watch a lot of them now. They just put it all out there. But okay, so if you guys missed the announcement, Alec Baldwin's trial just started this week, and he's looking as good as I've seen him in years. Like he's clearly gone to the spa. He's gotten some Botox. He's looking charming. He's worked. He's got the new hairstyle. I think he's probably he's he's on a fight for his life, and he's putting it on. But prosecution opened pretty strong, and they know how to win a case on this. So anyway, I'm going to be following Alec Baldwin. We'll do some lives on it through the case. I'm going to do OJ. I want to say this week's a little different. Maybe Friday night or Saturday night. We'll do another OJ. I missed that. We got to finish it. We got to do more at least. We don't have to finish. We just got to do more. And then Alec Baldwin will be this week. We'll just throw in, each day there's a trial. I'll try to put something into footage and then do it, a couple times during the trial. I'm just still so surprised. Okay, so let's shut that off. All right, hi. The ball is in Sarah's proverbial court. Yeah. So Michelle says, is that something that's been done before in any previous cases? Michelle, I don't know. Daryl Brooks, but I think he asked to represent himself. And, it's different here because Sarah's just asking for different lawyers. She did. It's maybe the judge found that saying that she wanted to defend herself and be in her case was, enough. But I never would have thought that would be enough. I would love to see a lawyer who's experienced in this area tell us a precedent that makes this make sense or points to the law and says this is why he did it. Peter Tragos has done a lot of videos on this. The lawyer, I know he had said it was coming, but I haven't seen him point to the law. Maybe he did it. I don't know. But if somebody can find it, please leave it in the comments below, and I will share it with you guys because I want to see yeah. Because obviously this is all I put up, just this one paragraph. Right? Yeah, and Alec Baldwin, his makeup artist is so on point. His style is flawless. Like, I never crushed on Alec Baldwin that much. And, he's careless and he seems to be fairly narcissistic. And, he seems to be good at what he does in his lane, though. He's got a weird home life situation. I don't know. I can't yet. I'm sure I'll dive in later and we can all go straight through that rabbit hole together. Just burrow in. That'll be fun. All right, beautiful party people, salty flock. I'm gonna put on the music and let you guys say your good nights. And if you think of anything as a follow-up to anything that we said, in the comments, remember to like, remember to subscribe, get some sleep. It's way far after dark. It's almost dawn in some places where you guys are watching. Thank you so much for being here. It was so freaking fun. All right, let's get our thank you screen up. See if I can get this part right anymore.